All right, thanks so much for being with us here on Atlanta News First Plus. I'm Joy Lim-Nakran. I just want to share with you some of the top stories that we are following right now, starting with police investigation and search for any possible leads into the death of a woman who they say was killed last night. Atlanta police are saying that there was a shooting that happened on MLK and Hamilton E. Holmes Drive, just across from a Wendy's there. Right now, we're working to learn the identity of the woman who was shot and killed in all this. But again, the important thing is that police need your help because they have not been able to make any arrests at this time. They're asking you to please give them a call if you have any information that might help them piece together what exactly happened, who might be responsible for this crime. Because as it stands, whoever killed this woman is still on the loose, is what police say, and they do need your help trying to track that individual down. So again, they're searching for any leads in the killing of a woman shot to death last night just near a Wendy's there on MLK Drive. So please reach out to Atlanta Police if you have any information that you think might be able to help them solve this crime. Also, results are in for 2 special elections. Voters in the new city of Mableton have now chosen their first ever city leaders. Remember, the mayor, the city council, that's what they were voting on. Meanwhile, in Clayton County, they've also chosen their new sheriff to take over, the one who's now headed to prison. So my colleague, Atlanta News First reporter Rebecca Schramm, tells us the interim sheriff is the one who actually got the nod. Let's listen.
Transition shouldn't be all that difficult. Levon Allen is already in charge around here, and look at this, his name is everywhere, including on the side of the sheriff's office vehicles around the county. And once yesterday's votes are tallied, he won't be interim anymore. He'll be the official new sheriff. Take a look at the results. Levon Allen beat Clarence Cox by a really narrow margin. Only a couple hundred votes separated the two men. Allen was the hand-picked successor of former Sheriff Victor Hill. Hill is headed to federal prison to serve 18 months for violating the civil rights of inmates by strapping them to chairs as punishment. Even so, Hill remains very popular in some circles here in Clayton County, so voters chose his protege to replace him. In Cobb County, voters in the new city of Mableton chose their first city council yesterday, and they also chose their first mayor. Michael Owens defeated Aaron Carmen in that race. We talked with one Mableton voter who initially voted against cityhood. He still showed up to have a voice in who represents him and his community.
To make sure that we get everything that we need, maybe sometimes from a county perspective, you may get overlooked in this particular area. And so hopefully by having more local representation, we can get better services and better attention paid to some of the issues that we're dealing with.
Results of that race will be certified Monday. Here in Clayton County, elections officials will certify the results of the sheriff's race this Friday. In Jonesboro, Rebecca Schramm, Atlanta News First.
Thank you to Rebecca Schramm for that report. Right now people around the world, not just in Atlanta, are honoring the life and legacy of Dr. Charles Stanley. He was the pastor emeritus of First Baptist Church in Atlanta, the founder of In Touch Ministries. He passed away peacefully at his home yesterday morning. As Savannah Louis reports, his sermons captivated Christians all around the world.
Whosoever shall call upon the name of the Lord shall be saved, period.
Powerful teachings ripple across a crowd, and years later ring through a near-empty parking lot.
He is a spiritual father, or was a spiritual father to so many.
Cecilia Jones driving more than an hour to First Baptist Church of Atlanta today, searching for comfort within the congregation, following Dr. Charles Stanley's death Tuesday morning.
We just hugged each other and we cried. And we just started talking through, good memories of Dr. Stanley.
She says Dr. Stanley, senior pastor of First Baptist Church of Atlanta and founder of In Touch Ministries, saved countless lives.
Look how many people will be in heaven because of him, and then how many people are still coming.
So how do we stand? We stand firmly in the strength of the Lord.
Teachings of resisting Satan and discovering spiritual gifts among some of his memorable lessons streamed across more than 130 countries.
He had a way of speaking and that really made you repent of what you needed to repent of, and then be extremely grateful for what Christ has forgiven you for.
Atlanta Mayor Andre Dickens addressing the loss, calling Dr. Stanley one of Atlanta's most influential faith leaders, who was known for his ability to make the scripture accessible to believers and would-be believers alike. First Baptist Church of Atlanta senior pastor Anthony George says in part, the magnitude of his legacy is impossible to measure. He has been a source of hope and strength to countless people whose faith has been shaped by his faithful and practical preaching of the Bible.
Thanks to Savannah Louie for that report. And Dr. Stanley will lie in repose Saturday from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. at First Baptist Church in Atlanta. In lieu of flowers, the family is asking that donations be made to In Touch Ministries. You know, this is believed to be one of the largest settlements in any defamation case in U.S. history. Fox News has now reached a settlement with voting machine maker Dominion Voting Systems. Opening statements were set to begin yesterday, but instead a judge announced that the parties have resolved the case. Dominion arguing that Fox News knew the claims of election fraud by their guests and some hosts were false and aired them anyway, which damaged the company. In a statement, the network acknowledged that the court found some of Fox News's claims against Dominion to be false. Here's what the attorney for Dominion and an analyst had to say about it.
Red or blue.
Fox settled pretty clearly to
Lies have consequences. The truth does not know red or blue.
Fox settled pretty clearly to avoid the public humiliation of having to send all of their top talent as well as their top executives into the courtroom.
And while this case with Dominion does appear to be over, the network is still facing a similar defamation lawsuit from another voting system firm, Smartmatic. So we're going to follow that as well. Okay, you know, there's been a lot of talk about 4-day work weeks recently, and the benefits really seem to be revealing themselves. Apparently, not only could it be a help to business and the mental health of employees, it could be good for nature as well. That's according to researchers in the UK who say that CO2 emissions dropped with employees dropping a day from their usual drive to work, and it cut down on things like rubber emissions from tires. U.S. experts acknowledge a 4-day schedule is not a cure for climate change, but it can certainly be part of the solution, helping the planet and business as well, potentially. And, you know, maybe on beautiful days, it kind of lets you spend some time outside. I want to bring in meteorologist Courtney Jacobazzi with a look at the forecast.
Thank you so much, Joy. Yeah, it's going to be a beautiful day today. Hopefully you can get out and enjoy it in some capacity, whether it's just taking your lunch outside maybe, or maybe you are going to go for a walk the dog. I know personally my dog has been getting extra long walks the past couple of days. Now there is a caveat. We're going to talk about this really quickly. First, I'll introduce myself for those of you tuning in with us this morning. I'm First Alert meteorologist Courtney Jacobazzi. Hope your day has been wonderful so far. I mean, how can it be bad when the weather is as beautiful as it is outside, right? Just stunning. So let's talk about something that we have in place today. We do have a code orange is what we call it. And essentially it's an air quality alert. When we have an area of high pressure like this parked over us and it gets warm, when you're under an area of high pressure, air sinks. When air sinks, it warms. So that's giving us a warm day, gives us all the sunshine. But unfortunately, it can kind of trap some of that ozone and some of the pollutants in the air from all the cars really close to the surface and just ultimately make the air unhealthy to breathe for some people. This isn't necessarily going to impact everybody, but of course, if you have asthma, if you have respiratory issues, any kind of lung problems, this is going to impact you. So parents with kids with asthma, if you have any kind of afternoon sporting plans this afternoon, so things like baseball practice, softball practice, just make sure the inhaler is on deck because you're going to need it. But ultimately, if you are one of the people who has any kind of respiratory issue, if you want to run or walk outside, really any time between now and maybe 11 o'clock is the best time, because once we head into the afternoon hours and we hit that peak daytime heating through around 6 o'clock, the air quality is just going to diminish. And again, not going to impact everybody, but it will impact those of you who are just sensitive to things like pollutants in the air. So again, people with asthma, lung, respiratory issues. So just something to keep in mind. Otherwise, it's going to be a beautiful day. So let's take you through what is going to happen on this Wednesday. You're looking out over Marietta Square, and this is exactly what's going to happen. Sunshine. beautiful blue sky over Marietta Square right now. Your current temperatures, and this is just past 10 o'clock for anyone who might be watching this a little later, in the upper 60s and we're at low 70s. We're at 72 right now in the city of Atlanta. I'm just so baffled by how warm we got so quickly, I couldn't even speak. 70 in Griffin, 67 in Athens, 62 over in Cobb County in Marietta, and 64 in Carrollton. So warming very nicely. Through the day today, we'll be in the mid 70s by noon, and we'll top out in the low to mid 80s today. Nothing but sunshine. It's really just going to be stunning. But again, like I mentioned, that one slight issue being the air quality alert that we have today. So just something to keep in mind as you're trying to get out and enjoy the beautiful weather today. So area of high pressure, that's why we're warm and dry this week, but we do have some changes for the weekend. We do have a first alert for Saturday, as it looks like some scattered showers will move in along a cold front, maybe a few storms. Don't think we're anticipating severe weather with this. And the team here, our team of 7 meteorologists actually, are going to be talking about maybe dropping that first alert for Saturday. There have been a lot of changes this morning compared to yesterday. Models are finally starting to come in line, which is typical when you get closer to an event. But they're also making this front weaker as a whole. And what does that mean for us? Less rain coverage and some more mild air behind this. It doesn't look like we're going to get as deep of a layer of cold air to move in, which will ultimately mean our temperatures won't drop quite as drastically. We're actually going to be pretty mild behind this front. So let's talk about it. I put the temperature contour underneath this graphic here just to kind of give you an idea of how the temperatures aren't going to drop quite as drastically. You're not going to see those bright blues show up anymore. So Friday, we're going to stay dry and warm. You'll notice an increase in cloud cover through the second half of the day, maybe a stray shower late in the evening. And then here comes our cold front moving through. Again, right now, this is a first alert. So who is this going to impact? People who have early morning, maybe 5Ks planned. I know there's always a 5K going on the weekend. If you have early morning sports practice with the kids, maybe if you were planning on traveling early Saturday morning, that's where you're going to be impacted. Mainly the morning hours. Going to go right through downtown between around 8 and 10 o'clock in the morning, clearing the area as we head into the afternoon. And behind that, it's going to get quite chilly, but not cold. It'll just be cool. The timing of this front's actually going to work in our favor. So since it is moving in during the morning hours, we're going to have enough daytime heating behind it to warm near 70 degrees for the afternoon. So maybe you're heading to the Braves game this weekend. It's actually going to be pretty nice at Truist Park. A little chilly on Saturday night and breezy, so just something to keep in mind, but definitely not freezing like we were thinking yesterday. Yesterday, we were thinking there could be frost up in the mountains, that we were going to be in the 40s with wind chills in the 30s. Definitely a lot more mild now because this front just looks to weaken. So here it is. Saturday will be near 70 degrees. We actually dropped that rain chance to 40% with Sunday at 69 degrees. Could be a little cooler than that, but right now we're going to go near 70. So here's a look at your 7-day forecast. Low 80s today, mid 80s tomorrow, just stunning. The morning, you probably won't even need a jacket tomorrow. Clouds will build Friday afternoon, but for the first half of the day, it'll be beautiful. First alert for Saturday, again, that's kind of in the works. We might drop the first alert because it's just looking less and less likely that that rain is going to impact your day. It's going to be a lot more scattered rather than widespread, not looking at severe weather. So, and it's not going to cool us down so rapidly that we'll be in the 40s and 50s through the whole afternoon. So we'll cool down temporarily in the morning, heat back up near 70 for the afternoon. Sunday will be in the upper 60s after a morning in the 40s. So as you're heading out the door for church on Sunday morning, running some errands, you'll need the jacket. Monday, that cool air will really settle in. So we'll be in the upper 60s on Monday, so a pleasant day to start the week. And then Tuesday will be mostly cloudy, and we'll introduce a small rain chance with highs near 70 degrees. But overall, Ella said it best this morning, just a lot of time to be able to get outside and take advantage of just all that North Georgia has to offer in spring. It's really just a beautiful stretch of days the next few days. Saturday, definitely not a washout, so if you have plans, don't cancel them. Again, models are trending drier, so even for your morning activities, we'll be keeping an eye on that, but you might look good to go for the most part. The rain would be quick passing anyway. Sunday will be a really nice day, just breezy, but overall not looking half bad. And then as we head into Tuesday of next week, that's when we'll introduce our next rain chance beyond Saturday. But stay tuned to our forecast, both on air on the First Alert weather app, because if we do drop that first alert and as we continue to update the forecast as models get a better handle on what's going to happen on Saturday, we will be sure to update you. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for spending some time with us this morning. I hope you can get out and enjoy this day. Don't forget, if you're just tuning in, we do have that code orange today, that air quality alert. If you do have sensitivities to, if you have asthma, essentially, if you have any kind of lung or respiratory issues, you're going to want to just kind of limit your time outside this afternoon, trying to get my words together, trying to think of the things I want to say. It's been a long morning. If you were following with me this morning, you know we had a crazy morning on the roadway, so my brain's a little mushy right now. But either way, if you are heading out this afternoon and you do have things like asthma, respiratory issues, lung issues, just kind of limit your time in the peak heating hours, because we do have a poor air quality on the way for the day today, but nothing but sunshine. So hopefully you can try and enjoy that. All right, everyone, make it a wonderful day, and we'll catch you guys here next time.